Hello, my friends. If I hit all the right buttons, we are live on YouTube and soon to be live on Facebook. All right, looking good on YouTube. If you're just joining, this is the kickoff for our day one of the 5-day Power BI challenge. And you can sign up at the link shown here. And I'm going to hit go live on Facebook. And hello and welcome to the Facebook friends. But I would mostly be watching comments online. Guy Johnson is here. Familiar face. Okay, not face, but name. Let's see. I want to make sure to start to go live. Bingo. Awesome, my friends. So whoever is on, why don't you say hi? Actually, let me say hi to my Learn Power BI fam first. I have Lisa. And I don't have, I think I have another person still reading. Lisa, how are you doing? Don't feel really talkative today? Lisa? Oh, wait. Don't have a mic. Ah, okay, no worries. No worries. And yeah, hopefully others will join. Let's go to YouTube. Who do I have? Oh, there we go. There we go. I was, okay, I got it dialed down now. A lot of you folks, Guy says hello, Asher is here. If you can write in where you're listening, joining from, that would be great too. Nicholas is from Houston, Texas. Hello, my friend. Anurag says hi. Steve Wald, greetings back to you. Dale Home says hello. Mario Diaz. Oh, Mario, yeah, I remember you from the last challenge we ran. David Hoffmeister, Anurag, yeah, two highs from him. That's good. Double the high, the better, right? Kimberly Forrest is here. Werner Sluto, if I said it right. Money Sawant says hi. Oh, guys, there are too many. Hello from Delhi, India, says Karanjit. Feliciano Santos says hello. How are you, my friend? Rod says hi. Kevin from Toronto. Kimberly is listening from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Bradley's from Toronto as well. I just spoke a few days back with the Toronto Power BI user group. That's always a great opportunity to mix with other Power BI folks. So yeah, if you have a local user group, join them. If not, heck, start a user group. Chorus says hi from Chicago. Rod from Peoria, Illinois. Wow, lots of you here today. I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited to see you guys excited about the Power BI challenge. I'm one of those. I know when I'm like training in a class, and if I have like folks in front of me, and if their energy is low, I can't help it. It brings me down low too. So I feed off of the energy of the audience. So I'm glad all of you are here. Jason Lee from Tampa. Dipesh from Udaipur, India. Oh my God, it's late night for you, my friend. It's like 12:30. That's a.m. That's kind of middle of the night. So appreciate you being here. Grab a cup of coffee. All right. Mario is joining from Brazil. Gulmira Chavez from Merida, Mexico. Awesome. Oh my gosh, the past data warehousing business intelligence virtual chapter. Nathan is representing them from Tampa. I have a very fond connections with past. They were kind of the first conference that I started to go to. The new one this year, it was called Microsoft Business Applications Summit. We just wrapped it up. I was there. Maybe some of you met me there as well. There were a lot of folks who would come up and say, "Hi, Avi, I follow you." And of course, I was wearing my bow tie, and I told everybody, look for the bow tie. So yeah, they found me and said hi. I appreciate that. Appreciate all of you guys. But PASS, I was talking about, that was the first conference that focused on Power BI, that started talking about Power BI. that was the first conference I presented where I went up on stage and talked about Power BI, talked about my journey within Microsoft. So Nathan, I'm so glad to have you here. Steve Walt from right here, Seattle. So some folks, like, I'm always stunned when people don't know where I'm from. Well, I'm from Seattle anyway. Maybe I should say it more. So I'm from Seattle. This is Microsoft backyard. I worked in Microsoft for 6 years, and yeah, love this place. I do love this place. Although sometimes when others hear it, they're like, what? Doesn't it rain all the time? All right. Martin, let's see more highs. Hi from Montreal. Ramon, Barcelona. Alexandra, Orlando. Ankush Doshi. Another repeat, invitee to the challenge. Awesome. Good to have you, my friends. If I skipped your name, then apologize. And on the phone, I have my Learn Power BI family students. Lisa, who doesn't have a mic, but Jean Mathis. Jean, how you doing? Did I say it right? Is it Jean? Is it Jean? John. Do you have a mic? Oh, Lisa is on the phone now, apparently. So Lisa, say hi. Let's see if I can hear you.
Hey, how are you?
I am good. How are you doing?
Good. I ditched the computer for the phone, so all's well.
Okay, yeah. You can also join in two places. I've done that before. I'll have the video on one and kind of the audio
Yep.
on the other. So yeah. So
Yeah, so we're all good.
all right, cool. Terrific. So, guys, let's kick it off. And hey, this one is not about me. This one is about you. So I'm going to try to keep this part to the minimum. I just want to kick it off, and I want to focus on you. Focus on serving you. We got some new ones coming in. Nolly says hello from Qatar, and Simon is from Vancouver, BC. I love that town as well. So again, guys, I'm going to keep it short. If you haven't signed up officially for the challenge, then go to learnpowerbi.com/challenge. That will make sure that you get some of the communication that I sent, but most importantly, I have put together kind of a list of resources and things on a single page, and you will get access to that. So I presented 3 different sessions at the Power BI Summit, and boy, I feel like I have so much to talk about, and I'm going to call it the Power BI Summit, all right? I mean, whatever the official name is. Last year was Data Insights. This was Business Applications. I don't care. For me, it's a Power BI Summit. So I presented 3 sessions, and pretty much this was kind of a theme or definitely a mention in each one of those, which is Power BI is Agile BI. By the way, I recently learned how to say this word correctly. I apologize. I was saying Agile. Apparently, that's not the right pronunciation. It's Agile. So Power BI is Agile BI, but it doesn't matter how you say it. The idea is to kind of you peel the onion. So those days of 6 months, year-long projects are gone, my friend. So this is something that I overheard in this Power BI Summit. Are you ready for this? $4 billion, all right? And I confirmed it. I said, what? I mean, is it a billion with a B? It's a billion with a B. $4 billion, 3 years, all right? 0 reports. What is this? And of course, this one is really bad, but who here has seen projects like this, right? Which spend a lot of money, a lot of time with questionable results. If you have, let me know. Type in a 1 or a yes. Gosh, that seemed like the story of my life, right? I was an Excel jockey, and I saw these projects come and go. That is history. I mean, if you treat Power BI the same way, I'm not sure what results you're going to get. If you embark on this long project, it doesn't work that way. It's Agile BI, and you go in really quick cycles. And as you peel the onion, you get better and better. So I have another analogy for you. If the onion kind of makes you cry, I feel like it's a game of tennis. And I love, as an author, so this is getting a little bit deeper, maybe not the overall deployment, but just the process of developing that model. It's a game of tennis. It's back and forth, back and forth. And I love that process. Now, that's what I would say. I mean, it can be frustrating at times, but why think of it that way? Enjoy that process. Enjoy the journey. That's what I try to do. And, oops, didn't want to do that. But what I want to talk about for this challenge specifically is selecting your project. So let's go there. Selecting your project. Do I have it open? Give me a second. Got it. So if we go over here. So if you have officially signed up for the challenge, you have all the resources here. And one of them, so I have, kind of the schedule, and the key things are, before you begin, I'm assuming you have some knowledge of Power BI or you've gone through my tutorial, right? So obviously if you're in my class, you have access to a lot deeper. I mean, this one is just the first module from my course, and then you have 6 more modules and other resources. So you have some knowledge of that. I'm not gonna kind of teach you Power BI basics. I mean, it's all there on the video, right? So it doesn't make sense. But this part is important. And this talks about, if you watch this video in your resources, this talks about selecting what I call a real Power BI project. And so I see others where they're like, oh, I'm going to take this airline data set or NBA data set and work on that. I don't know. I mean, maybe it works for you, but for me, it feels like that's me hitting the ball against the wall. And sure, it's practice, but it's not the same as this. I think this is where the good stuff is. All right? So select a project. I mean, this is about you doing it, not me. I don't want to walk you through an AdventureWorks thing and so forth. Cool. So that's what your journey is going to be. Now, so don't do this. Now, I will have, I will walk you through the process using something we did inside our class, where we brought in a real business person and built a Power BI solution for her over the course of 5 weeks. I called it Real Power BI. If you've been following me on my channel, then there are some videos out there around that, right? So I'm going to use that, but I'm not trying to teach you Power BI necessarily. I'm trying to just expose you to the process that we took over there. How do you think that sounds as a plan? And last note, this one, down here, I would put resources links here because I want to give you access to the notes that we take in this call. And if you ask me questions and I give you responses, I'll save those as well. And something that I do want to try for this one is have you guys call in as well. So normally it's my Learn Power BI students who are on the phone, but we'll try it, and frankly, no guarantee. So Eamon, I see you on the line. How are you doing?
Hope you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and
Okay,
clear.
perfect.
Yeah.
I'm good. I just sat down, so I hope I didn't miss much. Did I?
It'll be in
And
the
don't
recap.
rehash. Don't
Yeah.
recap. But no, I'm very much looking forward to this. Very much looking forward.
Awesome, cool. So yeah, I mean, this is something which initially I always intended for just my YouTube followers. I mean, I figured that inside our class we have a weekly meeting anyway, but when I first ran it, which was sometime last year, a lot of students did sign up, which kind of surprised me. What surprised me even more is that they said they got good value out of it. And ironically, it's one of those kind of momentum things. So I remember Sachin, he was talking about it, and he said it just puts you in a different mindset because you're thinking about Power BI for 5 days straight. Now of course,
Sure.
right? I mean, the challenge is that often for folks who are on YouTube and inside my class, Power BI isn't your day job, right? That isn't your title. I mean, you're something else. You're a business analyst, marketing analyst, I don't know, CFO, FP&A, something like that. So yeah, I mean, often Power BI, I mean, you do want to make progress, but it's just one of the other things. So this just brings in that focus. So great, good to have you here. I would say pick a project, make it kind of small, bite-sized. The idea is to get something done within a week. Cool. So let's check in. Let's see what you guys are saying on Facebook. What do you think? Manuel, I'm going to share when I'm ready to try that out, how you can dial in. Manuel says hi from Chicago. So the course, you're talking about the course. Let's talk about the course. So I would be sharing more information about my course as we go through this. And again, I mean, frankly, I don't care. I mean, it's going to be your choice whether you sign up if you want to continue this path with me or not. I mean, I really appreciate and admire everyone who does, but that's not a prerequisite. I'm going to help you and serve you through this challenge regardless, right? So I'm going to share that with you, but oh, I'm so excited about this. You do have a chance to win a seat to my on my course onto and I haven't figured out what the step 2 is going to be. I know there's going to be step 2, but you can, if you have accepted the challenge, again, just go to this URL, learnpowerbi.com/challenge. You would have access to this page, and if you scroll kind of all the way down, you have a chance to win, and might as well complete the step 1 right now. That'll put you in the running, and yeah, we're gonna have step 2 soon. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the program, we would be opening doors to my course. I'm super excited. We only do this a few times a year, but it's always an exciting time. And by the way, guys, I mean, when you first sign up for my course, pretty much the first thing we ask you to do, I mean, it's on the thank you page, it's on the email reminder, it's in the, as soon as you start the course, the first lesson, it's to ask you to book a welcome call with me. And it's a 15-minute welcome call, but rarely has it stayed to 15 minutes. I've had hour-long conversations with my new students. I have dove into the models, trying to figure out the DAX formulas, or just chit-chatted, talked about the journey. I mean, I find it kind of touching that so many have such powerful stories, and so many have such amazing stories. And it's funny, obviously, sometimes I can see kind of the reflection of my story in theirs. I'm like, wow, that is amazing, right? That kind of the business analyst just cranking away. I mean, yeah, and you go from there to making a huge impact. So, yeah, so that's all I'll say about my course. So cool. So I'm gonna pause really quick. No more comments here. So let me walk you through. So again, I'm gonna show you this real Power BI project, but the idea is to more kind of show you the process. I'm not teaching you Power BI here because again, as I said, either you, I'm gonna assume that either you have gone through my tutorial, so you know the basics, or of course, if you're in my course, you've gone much deeper than that, or maybe you've read my book or other books. You have prior knowledge of Power BI. So I'm going to walk you through the real Power BI, and again, I'm going to keep it short and every day. I'm hoping I'm done in like 10 minutes, and then we're going to switch over to help answer your guys' questions. I'll experiment. Folks on YouTube trying to call in. We'll see how that goes. All right, so, oh my gosh, Kimberly is so amazing, my friends. So I met her in my entrepreneurs group. Now she's a hairstylist. Now this is the thing. When I was growing up, I was told that there were 2 career choices. You could be a doctor or an engineer, right? So this was, I was in India, right? And yeah, this was back in the day. So engineer or doctor, and my dad had this funny saying. He said, if you wouldn't do it, I mean, he said it in Hindi, I'm trying to translate. He said, if you don't succeed in this, you would be mowing lawns. And now that I think about it, that was, kind of silly. I mean, right? And now that I know, I mean, there are many ways to succeed. And certainly Microsoft opened my eyes to it. Because when I got to Microsoft, I had this vision of Microsoft. Like, oh my God, Microsoft, right? You walk in there, and they're regular people. They don't have wings. They don't have halos on their head. And I met people who were like English major, who were geologists. They would talk about, traveling to South America and being shot at. They were cops. Oh, that was my favorite group. And I would say, how would cops end up in Microsoft? Well, they were doing kind of what cops do. They were in the commerce team, and they were in charge of fighting fraud and crime, right? So why not? And all this rich kind of tapestry, right? And that blew me away. So Kimberly Marie, and I see the same thing in my entrepreneurs group. I mean, there are hairstylists, Kimberly, yoga instructors, I don't know, mindset coaches, this, that, and there are a few Excel guys. There's me, and there's the amazing John Akampura. Many of you may know him. Yeah, we're the Excel guys. And frankly, I don't even mention Power BI because when I do, they're like, what? Power by what? And I'm like, no. Forget it. I'm the Excel, the data sheet guy, spreadsheet guy. So Kimberly Marie, hairstylist, but not just any hairstylist. I mean, she's so good that she's now also a business coach, and she helps others with their businesses. So she came to us. She came to me. I brought her to the class, and the idea was that we're going to run the class through a real Power BI project. And frankly, this was an experiment. I don't know how it would go, but I think it went really well. Some of the initial feedback that I've seen from my students has been also very positive, and of course, we're planning to run it again. All right, enough talk. Let's just dive into Power BI. Well, actually, data at least. And I will. So again, I want you guys to kind of pick your project, your tennis match. Yeah, you don't have to do this, but if you do want to follow along, I don't know, somehow if you're really pressed and you're like, no, Avi, I don't have anything, I don't have any real project that I can work on, then I will make these files available to the challenge participants as well. So let's get in there. So first time she came in was from client. Let's look at this, eh? So I think I cleaned up a little bit. So this is the file that she brought to me. And what I'm gonna share here is I want you to watch out for three things, and I hope it's not. Yeah, I hope it makes sense. Let's go back to Talk Power BI. So we are today, day 1 challenge, July 27th. So what we're talking about is real Power BI. Let's say 002116, and I'll make sure you guys have access to these notes as well if you need it. Oops. Let's go and got it. So here, there are three things I want you to look out for in this, as well as your own data set you're looking for, right? Ready? I want you to look for kind of data entry or data source. I want you to look for data model or think about that. And lastly, I want you to, I'll say data reports, right? So check out, where did we go? Here we go. Kimberly's files, all right? And so you notice it's got one file. It's got months at the bottom, Jan, Feb, March, and yeah, I mean she would have different files for different years. Let's stay with that. And I did, and you know the data is really simple, but I noticed this. So notice how she's doing number of days, and this really interested me. Like, why is she entering data? Like, why wouldn't you say January 2nd? Like, why wouldn't you say January 2nd, something like this? But no, she's saying T2, and is it 3, and so forth. And guys, again, I mean, you might be thinking, if you're in Excel, you're like, oh yeah, I can do this so much better in Excel. But unless you use Power BI, and it also exists inside Excel in terms of Power Pivot and Power Query, you're not gonna break to the next level. You're still gonna stay. If you stay in old Excel, you're gonna so you can't break through. So don't think in those terms, like how can we solve in Excel, but just watch how she's doing it here. T2 and is AM2, and then she's calculating, keeping her hours, her clients, right, and then everything here are dollars. So retail, services, tips, cash, and that's it. And actually, she has expenses here in this line. All right, so this is what we got, and we had a lot of questions for her. So on week 1, we asked her a ton of questions. So let me just go back and show. So week 1 was kind of the interview and like multiple years. You can see we were talking about this data entry, data model, all of that stuff. And sometimes when I'm talking to a client, I may or may not use the terms data entry, data model. I'm using it with you guys. All right, so you can see I take a lot of notes and all that stuff. So that was week 1, and that's what you would do initially. And of course, so for us, we ran it as a class project, so it expanded. I would say typical projects, and when we go to clients, it's just 2 days, 3 days, long 2 days. I mean, we're there all day, and yeah, so you can definitely, done is better than perfect. So get something working in a week. So anyway, so this is the data. And then we had some, she tried to show some like monthly number, and each of these is a kind of a formula, and she's trying to calculate a lot of different things, average numbers and so forth. And then she was trying to do annual projections, which she couldn't get to. All right, so forget about the old world for now. Forget about what we would do for her. But if you look at where she is right now, where is where is the data source, the data entry? Well, in her case, it's right here, right? Right here. Stay with me. Where is the model? Now, of course, the model might, like, what is a model? Well, I have a Power BI answer. Let's just say it's the business logic, right? And that, it's in formulas, it's in structure of the data. And where is the business model in this case? It's right here, right? It's inside this file. You can kind of see it in some of this structure, some of the formulas. So it's right there. And where are the reports? Well, they are right here as well. So they have kind of, these are reports, and frankly, she was kind of doing reporting here as well. And that's why she had this like number of days, and she was trying to get like a trend of Wednesday and so forth. So, and I really realized it as I was working with her that we tend to do this. We mash these three together. We don't separate them. Our data source or entry is like all there, and data model is kind of mashed together, and data reports are mashed together. Power BI allows you to separate these three. All right, so I'm going to jump to the solution. Ready? And we'll of course build step by step. But what we did in the class, gosh, so yeah, they really work great. Is the data input came from Google Sheets. So she was entering her data there. Let me see if I can quickly show that. All right, that'll take a second to boot up. I'm just going to take a quick glance at... weird. Yeah, if you have any thoughts, comments during that, let me know. Wow, a lot of you online. Okay, did the model pop up? It did. Oh, guys, I'm excited about this. And I am so happy and so proud of the work that the class did. I hope I added like a little bit there, but let me show you. Oh, actually, I can just grab it from right here. Ignore that. Come on. So we'll have edit parameters. So we had her entering data in a sheet. And the thing is, oh, actually, you know what? We were entering it using a Google form. I'm not sure if I'll be able to, I'll try to actually bring it up really quick. Let's see. And of course, the choice of the tool doesn't matter. In fact, we figured out that data entry was the last thing we figured out. Why? Because if you separate these three things, where did that go? If you separate data entry, data model, data reports, you can build them in blocks. So we said, you know what, data entry, we're not worried about it, we'll figure it out. So we first built the data model and then the reports, then we came back to do the data entry. But the final solution was, let's see, so she was entering this data mostly on her mobile phone. So we used, and she was used to kind of Google spreadsheets and Google Forms. So we just used this, and that's it. She just, kind of entered her data. Works really easy for her own phone. Now this is linked to a spreadsheet on the back end, which is right here. And then our model picks it up, right? So you saw how we have disconnected the data entry, and we could solve data entry with what we need for data entry. Right? I mean, earlier she was entering her data on here, and she was actually doing it on her mobile phone. And this is not fun. But now she's got a Google form with drop downs and that sort of stuff, and it's super easy, right? So when we separated the two, we could solve the data entry to make it really easy for the scenario. And then the model, we could just focus on the model. So if you look at the structure here, it's pretty basic, but yeah, I mean, and you can see we love our measures. See the list of measures? Even in a simple model, I end up with like 50, 100 measures sometimes, and of course in bigger models, 500, 600 measures. Measures are good. So we built this model, and then we have this one report. But again, I want to show you this idea of disconnecting reports, right? So model and report are right now, they look like they're in the same place, but they don't have to be. And for that, you need the YouTube for data. You need to publish it somewhere. Sharing place. So let's go there. So I'm going to publish the data, and let's go to Power BI. And let's say Kimberly got really big, right? I mean, she started to challenge Tony Robbins, all right? So you're like, yep, she's a business coach, and it's really big. So now she has a large team on her, and of course we probably have upgraded their reports and data set, but she would have this data model, and ignore the visuals here for now. The data model is what you see under the hood. In the data view, really my favorite way to look at the data model is the relationship view. So this thing is now published online, and on Power BI you see it under data set, and I see it right here. But now you can come and you can click on it, and well, actually I think you just have to click on the name. And what I did here, what I'm doing here is I'm creating a report connected to the model, but it's separate from the model. The model is this file, but this report that I create here, let's just try total income. Let's just try credit income, cash income, and let's stack it, and let's track it by month. And of course, I'm not gonna get very far with this in this demo, but you see this, and I could build a whole report, and it's not in the same file. It's a separate thing, and it's a thin report. It's not doing any hard work. It's really thin. It's just connecting back to the model. That's it. The model does all the hard work. And not just this, I can click here and click Analyze in Excel, and I'm not too gung-ho on the name, but essentially what it does is that it lets me build an Excel report connected back to the model. So I'll let that open up, but really actually, that was pretty quick. So enable. Ooh, I'm excited. So see what happened here? Now I have an Excel report connected back to the model. If you save this file, it's going to be like kilobytes because it doesn't have the data. The model is doing all the heavy lifting, the model that you have authored in Power BI Desktop, but you can have as many reports as you want, and in whichever tool you want. You can create. So let's do the kind of the same thing: cash income, credit income, and month, and whatever capability you have in Excel, you would have in here, right? So you can build this report, save it, and it's all connected to the same one. So the world you get is you connect to multiple sources. In this case, we kind of had one. Build your data model, and then you have multiple reports going off from there, right? That's the vision. Cool. All right, let's just see. How are we doing time? 12:35. Let me just show you a little bit. Should I show the query editor? Yeah, let's take a step back actually. Cool. Any questions, thoughts on YouTube or on the phone? Guys, feel free to talk to me. Okay, you guys are awfully quiet on YouTube. I hope I haven't lost all of you. Just give me a thumbs up. Hit something, some key on your keyboards if you're watching on YouTube. Okay, Ankush has a question. I hope it's working. In a stacked bar chart, how to enable total on the top of each bar? Recommended if. Oh, okay, cool. Lots of questions coming in. Awesome. Let's check in. So guys, if you want, I can show you how to combine this data on multiple sheets. That's what I was originally planning to do. But you tell me, do you want to do kind of Q&A or demo? So just type in, just say Q&A if you want Q&A, like if you want me to answer your questions, or if you want to see a demo of how to combine these sheets. So Q&A or demo?
Avi.
Yeah.
Avi? Yeah, it's Eamon again. Just a really quick one, because I think I missed the first like maybe 6 or 7 minutes. So for this 5-day challenge, are we going to use one of our own data sets? Yes, that's fine. I just wanted to double check. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah,
perfect.
I'm really hoping for that. Yeah. And yeah,
okay,
bring in the problems here. Awesome.
No worries. Okay, I'll mute myself again. Thanks, Avi.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'm hearing demos. Woot woot. You do have some questions. How long are these daily questions? Okay, yeah. So scheduling. So if you, how long are these sessions? That's a good. I don't know. Usually they go on for hour and a half, 2 hours. I'll try to cover the core stuff initially, and guys, we'll try to do something so you can, kind of up your chances of your questions being answered. We'll communicate that. So if you have kind of gone to learnpowerbi.com/challenge, we will kind of streamline it. And hey, it's always done is better than perfect. We're always improving, right? So if you go to learnpowerbi.com/challenge, you would have access to our page, and that has the schedule. And again, it has a kickoff time. It doesn't have the end time, but we'll try to keep always all the content, main content, in the first hour. And after that, of course, I'll be happy to stay on for as long well, not as long, but yeah, I'll happy to stay afterwards. And also, we're going to experiment about the ability for you guys to call in, and we're going to try that today, see if it works. And again, we'll stick that information in here as well. It's got the complete schedule. And if you click on these, I know people like trip up on the time. I know somebody was pinging me at 9 o'clock Pacific, like, "Hey, Avi, you're not live yet. I'm waiting." And I'm like, no, that's not it's 12 anyway. I don't know which time zone they were in. So if you click on this, you can add it to your calendar. What else? It's got the prerequisites. I think it's really simple. And yeah, guys, simple is good. We make it. It's not complicated. This is all you do, but you do it really, really fast, right? The agile, that's the important bit, right? You got to do it really, really quick. You can't sit down and collect requirements for the next 3 weeks. I know folks who are deploying Power BI are doing that, and it just makes my heart sink. I'm like, come on, empower your ground troops. Yeah, was it Lisa? Who was that?
No, it's Teresa.
Teresa, hey, good to have you on. So you've
Hey.
seen that, huh? That seemed like it touched a chord.
Yeah. I was gonna try this. I'm gonna be traveling on Monday. Will it be recorded where I could watch it and then catch up for Tuesday? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, awesome. And of course, the chance to win the course if you're following on YouTube, and we'll link more stuff here, like the link to the Real Power BI files by Kimberly Marie if you want to try it out. I have some ideas around throwing in mini challenges where I just give you like a DAX or a query puzzle. But let's so hopefully that answers your question. So I heard more demos, so let's go into that now. Again, so guys, I'm going to show you how to combine the Jan, Feb, March, and all that stuff. But as you saw, that's not what we ended up doing, because we solved these things separately, right? We totally changed our data entry. We redid it. Now, of course, in our case, we had end-to-end control, right? She was working with us, like, yep, you tell me. And we said, well, yeah, what works best for you? Oh, it's on mobile. Would a form work? Great, let's do a form, right? So that's how we did it. But sometimes you do not have control over this. This could be another person, another department, heck, another company. If that's the case, then let's see how you could solve it. This was somebody else who was sending you this data, how would you solve it? And of course, my fun part is this M19 format, but let's see. So actually, it's been a while since I solved it, so let's see if I can do it. All right, cool. So let's, I'll close it and open up desktop. And I'm going to save it in a location which we'll make sure we share and make sure you can access. So 2018, nice. And we'll say 2018 07 Power BI Challenge. Does that work? Okay, so we got this one, and let's just do day one. Day 1, July 27. So when I started, when I started working at Lucent, and I grew up in India, and we were using PCs, we were using Windows, but I came to Lucent and they gave us Linux or Unix workstations. So and somehow I got trained to not use space, and I can't give it up. My friends all laugh at me. They're like, "Avi, what's with you and the underscores?" I'm like, "Sorry guys, it's just I can't." All right, so cool. Let's go in here, and yeah, I'm gonna save the file right from the get-go, day one, and I'll say I don't know what to call it. Real Power BI connect multiple sheets. So I'll say Avi. I don't know. Gosh, sorry, I get stuck on names. Sometimes I spend like a minute thinking about what to name my measure. I think that's important. All right, so we have the file. So again, get data, lots of different sources you can connect to, and you can bring in multiple sources. It still shocks me when I realize that people don't get it. Like they say, "Oh, I mean, I can connect to this and that." Oh, what? And I'm like, "Oh yeah, of course." And you can connect to 50 more if you needed to. But in here, so we're gonna point to our Excel is right up top, and we go in here, and where is my file? So again, let me move the file as well. So let's go that way. Okay, cool. Let's go. Live calls, files. This one. Okay. So again, you've seen kind of the file, the structure of the file. So let's try that again. Get Excel. Oh, right there. Come on. And I'm just gonna select a random one. Let's say January, and I'm going to click edit, right? So load would load it into my model, edit would launch the query editor. By the way, so query editor is the kitchen of Power BI. That's where we do all our cooking, all our clean shape transform, all of our prep. All right, don't try to do it in DAX, please. That's not the right place, right? So don't do it in DAX. And the odd thing is, so what I call the model, which is the closest thing to that is the relationship view. Right? So the model doesn't actually know what goes on in the kitchen. It only knows what the end result is. That's why this makes it so powerful. So in here, so I'm sure there are like a few different ways of doing this. And guys, I frankly, it's, I'm not that smart. There are other ninjas out there who like totally master M. They probably open the advanced editor and type their queries. I don't know. There are probably beasts like that out there. And of course, I see DAX formulas which are like a page long. I never do that kind of stuff. I like simple. So I've found a simple approach. And what I do is, so again, I'm assuming you're familiar with the query editor, but it has the steps over on the side. And I'm just going to delete these steps one by one. A change type is one that I usually I'm not a huge fan of. Let's just say that. So delete that, and of course it's kind of doing things on the side. Delete this promoted headers. Let's go. And most importantly, navigation. And one thing that I would highly recommend is you turn on this formula bar. So if you go to view, make sure your formula bar is turned on, because it's going to help you learn M bit by bit. That's how I learned M, just by looking at it at the formula bar. Later, I did read a book and stuff, and and of course, then I recorded everything for my course for the query editor. But so I deleted the last step. So notice what happened here. Now I have access to all the sheets. Fair enough, right? So this sounds promising. So what I'm going to do here is, first of all, I don't need all sheets. There's some sheets here which I don't want, so I'm just going to filter those out. So I do not want monthly, and I do not want annual. So hit OK. And now I'm going to delete all the other columns. I only need the data, and I need the name of the file. So I'm going to say right-click, remove other columns. And this one, I'm not sure. Maybe let's be month name. Let's try that. And now I call this action button. I don't know what the official word is, but I'm going to click on the action button and expand all the columns. Now I realized that this data wasn't very clean. I mean, it had a lot of empty rows off to the side. which I don't think we need, but that's okay. We'll work with that. So we get this, and now it's pulling in all the files. But yeah, you notice it's kind of weird, not clean. So let's see what we do here first. So I see a few things that I want to do. I'm going to clean out the nulls. But now, but basically you saw how simple it was. It just combines all the sheets, and then there's a little bit of cleanup. Let's bump our headers up, so we don't have column 1, column 2 anymore. Bump our headers up. Let me see if we have any. So yeah, we have some weird columns on this side. We can delete those. It's just empty columns. And then let's focus on rows. So I'm going to remove null, and let's load more. Okay, so let's remove, okay. My old nemesis, change type. As I said, guys, I'm not a huge fan. It gets automatically added, and then it just messes it up. Because in my data set, some of this says total. Some of number of days. Yeah, I don't know. Well, actually, it's kind of blank. But I don't know. It's complaining about that. So change type, I'm not a huge fan of. At least the automatic one. So I'm going to go back and delete it. And it's going to work better. So Rich, we're going to share the link to the demo files. I'm going to put it on the challenge accepted page. So if you have signed up for the challenge accepted page is in every email that I'm going to send out to you. So and that's where I'm going to share the link to this file. But again, the idea is for you to pick your own project. That's where the learning is. I want you to play that tennis match, my friend. Just hit that ball across that court, and show it to your colleagues, and show it to your client, whoever you're working with, and just iterate. Okay, back to this. So now that the change type is gone, this should work better. So if you notice earlier, it was complaining when I said load more. So I don't want null, and at least somewhere there's this number of days. So I unchecked those and hit OK. And now it should be a lot more compact. In fact, this one is a small data set, so I can see the number of rows here. If you have a lot of rows, it only does a preview, only does like top 1,000 or something. So 180 rows looks kind of good, but we need a little bit more. Oh, interesting. So this Jan 1 also has nulls. I don't think we need that, so let's remove those as well. Now it says 130 rows. It's starting to look good. Perfect. But now the big one was we wanted to convert this to a date. So let's say month name and a date label, right? So I just kind of prepped that, so I'm ready. So of course, so guys, you would hear me say this quite often, definitely in my class here as well. And I say human learning comes before machine learning. Before you can have Power BI solve it, I just ask myself, like, how would a human do it, right? Actually, let's maybe that's quote worthy. Feel free to tweet it, but I'll write it. So human learning comes before machine learning. And I didn't say it, my friends. I wish I could take credit for that. This was an AI expert who used to work in our Microsoft Commerce team, and yeah, that guy was brilliant, and that's what he said to me. All right, so here, how would a human do it? Like, oh, human for human, it's easy, right? Oh, this is January 9th. Simple. Like, what's the date? January 8th. But what's simple for human is sometimes you have to break it down step by step for Power BI, whether you're writing a formula or you're doing it in Query Editor. So how did a human do it? Well, if you think about it, I got Jan from here, but then I pretty much ignored this T and this Wednesday because that doesn't kind of help me. Like, I don't remember Jan 3rd is a Wednesday or not. And I just need Jan 3rd. And of course, the year is implicit. It's in my head, right? So of course, we'll have to teach Power BI all of that. So let's get to it. So we're going to split this one. Split column by delimiter. Come on, Power BI. There it is. So by space. And I'm not going to say each occurrence. I'm just going to say leftmost. I only expect one space in there. So we have that. Ooh, notice how this pops up. And this is interesting, guys. So a lot of times when you start working with data, this happens with me, and I've seen my students run through it all the time. It uncovers a lot of yucky stuff. But that's okay. It's like shining torch in a dark room or dark alley. You've never been there, and you want to transform that into a beautiful place. But it's when you first start shining the torch, like, oh, that thing is there. So you can uncover all this, and yeah, I mean, you have two choices. One, fix it at the source, or fix it in the model. And it, the answer kind of depends. So we'll see. We might choose this one to just do the easy way and fix it in the source. But anyway, so generally it works. So we got data label month name, data label 1. That's good. And let's remove this one. And this is what I like about the kitchen. Once you peel the potatoes, you can throw the skin away. You don't have to keep that, right? I mean, any step-by-step thing you did. So I like doing step-by-step. It keeps it simple for me. But then I can throw that away. Oh, gosh, weird. Anyway, just looking at YouTube comments. Okay, cool. So let's say, so we got month name and date label 2. Let's just work with that. So I'm going to add a custom column, and let's say, so I don't know. I haven't done it for the date dot from text. Let's just try it, and if not, we'll go Google, and it's okay to Google. Yeah, as long as you have the concepts right. It's okay to look up something specific. So I'm going to say, I want to say, oh gosh, let's see, hopefully it works. So say Jan, and then let's do date label 2. And we'll hard code the year for now. Of course, if there were multiple years, we would probably solve that differently. Oh, awesome, it worked, except for that W17 one, but that's okay. In fact, I can quickly, at least here, filter in the nulls and see, oops, I just want to see the nulls, the ones that are failing. Interesting. The change type again. Please give me a setting to turn it off. Oh gosh, why? I don't get it. Why is it still doing that? Date value. Oh, because this one thinks it's a date? I have no idea. We'll worry about that later. Let's see. So I think there's only one W17. I'll just fix it in the source. I think it was in January. Oh, it's not happy with me. So that's it, guys. Let's I want to show you something really quick. And what is it? There we go, W17. So that's how you could do that. I mean, the scenarios that I like are being able to go to a folder and bringing in all the sheets, being able to go to an Excel file and bring in all the sheets inside that Excel file. The one that I might have solved for a student, but I've forgotten, is to go to a folder, pull in all the files inside, all the Excel files, and then extract all the sheets from all the Excel files. And I'm pretty sure it's doable, but yeah, anyway, so we are done with the first step. I will, in subsequent session, in the next few days, as we explore this data, go down this fun rabbit hole, we'll talk about a lot more about kind of shaping the data and all that stuff. So again, guys, this is, I mean, you guys asked for a demo, so I did it, but this is about you. So let's, just give me 1 second. So why don't we go to questions? So go ahead and type in your question if you have one, and if it's something that would help for you to call in, I'm gonna try to set up a call in. Actually, let's go on the phone first. So I see Amy, Eamon, Lisa, Mike, and Teresa. Do you guys have a question for me for your own data set or general about YouTube? Not YouTube, Power BI.
Avi, it's
Yeah.
Eamon.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
And totally get that this is a bit out of left field, so you may not be able to answer it, but I'll ask it anyway. I have a data set that I would like to use for this challenge.
Yeah,
Um, like I have a fact table, transaction table, a product lookup table,
yeah,
and I have a location lookup table, but I don't have, because it didn't come with this set, I don't
yeah,
have a customer table, okay,
yeah,
lookup table. And the question is this is there a quick way to kind of like build out a customer table off the fact table, right?
yeah,
And then just suck it into, like, I know how to pull it into its own lookup table,
yeah.
but I'm just not sure how I would, essentially jerry rig a separate column
You,
to that doesn't exist at the moment to actually flag the following 500,000 lines of data. I'm putting in pretend customers, maybe, I don't know, maybe 200 customers, and in some way randomizing that such that it makes sense over a couple of years. Now, I know it's a bit out of left field, and
yeah,
I'm sorry,
hold
I
on,
don't mean
yeah,
to
yeah.
put you on the spot.
So,
I really don't. So,
so,
so the question, yeah, go on.
what I was gonna ask you, so you you have the fact table, or I like to call it the data table, coming in,
Yeah,
and
sorry, I'm sorry. I have, yes.
it has some sort of a customer ID. Is that right? Some sort of an
No,
ID?
so
No.
so for whatever reason, yeah, I just found it on the internet. But the bit I'm missing is a customer lookup table, and there's nothing within the transaction table that is
Yeah.
anyway customer related. So my question is, because I remember you did something with randomizing. You did something, I think it was in
Yeah.
Excel or it might have been within Power BI, where you randomized
Yeah,
a
but
column.
hold on a second. So
Yeah,
I
go.
mean, I don't think we need to create entities which don't exist. So let me pull up an example here. So of course, Adventure Works, I kind of have the love hate thing going on for it, but
Mm,
so in Adventure Works, if we're looking at sales, sales is my data table. That's the business process. And for the
yeah,
lookup tables, I ask who, what, where, when, how. And if that exists, then I put it in. Like sales, does it have a who? It does have. It's like who bought it. Does it have a where? Like, yep, where did they buy? The store locations, that's where. But depending on the process, you might get a different answer, or you might get like nothing, right? So if if it doesn't apply, then there's no need to manufacture it unless I'm not understanding the question correctly. So for example, look at budget.
yeah,
I ask the
yeah.
same questions, but budget has a what, so it has a product, and it has a when, it's connected to the calendar, but nothing else. Budget doesn't
Yes.
apply to customer. It doesn't apply to territory because we're not doing budget that way, at least in this company, right? So in the data set you're coming in, if there is like if the fact table does have like customer information and it's coming in there and it's kind of flattened out, I don't know if that's the scenario, then you can like kind of break it off of that and then say, oh no, this is like the customer table. But it sounds like you don't have that in the data that you are getting. There's no customer information, is it?
That's right. Yeah. So
Yeah,
the data that I have is essentially a transaction table, a
yeah,
product table, and a location table.
yeah,
But it doesn't have a customer table. And I
yeah,
suppose my challenge is this: is even with the database that you brought up, that we
hmm,
just looked at,
yeah,
the bicycle one, the
yes,
the bicycle parts,
yeah,
whatever the name of that is, like even with that one, and I think you had one in your course where it runs over a 3-year period, but for the first 2 years, there's only two products being
yeah,
sold, which I get it. It's like I
yeah,
kind of get, that could be a real business model, or indeed it could be a made up one, but there isn't enough flavor within it to be able to, use and highlight certain things within Power BI to potential clients, etc.,
yeah.
that we could do the following with your data. So I'm
I see what you're
essentially
saying.
I'm not trying to get an ideal data set. I'm just trying to get a data set that is big enough from a
Yeah,
transaction table perspective and has enough lookup tables, ideally 3, possibly 4, such that I can
I see what you're saying.
highlight to clients, this is
Yeah.
what you can do, because it's really difficult in terms of when you work for a client and you do outstanding work, you can't actually show that work
That's
because
right.
it's sensitive information, which is
I see what you're saying.
such a pain. It really is.
Yes,
But
so
it's
you're trying to build something we can
data.
showcase that. What I'll say is, don't worry about that. Don't worry about the model. Don't worry about the customer table. I mean, look at what we did with Kimberly. Gosh, and this has technically it only has two tables. It has the data
Yeah.
table, and the only lookup table we have is calendar. Now, of course, so guys, if you remember the data set, we did talk to Kimberly and said, hey, Kimberly, if you start capturing data at a more granular level, you could capture like the specific clients, you could capture the specific services. But she's not doing that, and she's not ready to do that yet. Her data, she just captures at the end of the day, and that meant that really we had two tables. Oh, there we go, it popped up. Right, so I mean, frankly, the other stuff you can ignore it. None of it applies. Come on, relationship view. What's going on? Oh, this is the wrong one. Kimberly Real. Oh no, oh, gosh, which one do I want? And anyway, I think I opened the wrong file. But it does just has two tables. That's it. Income and that. And you know, I will say that I'm really proud of the end result that we built. You know, so yeah, I mean the dashboard I think is really impactful. I mean, Kimberly was super impressed. I did a follow up interview with her, so I didn't, you know, this wasn't with the class because I just wanted her honest opinion, and she was just bowled over by the dashboard, by the whole process. So I don't think you need that because frankly nobody sees the underlying model anyway. I wouldn't say focus on that. Frankly, I mean you can't. It's kind of one of those things. That's why everybody talks about the visual because it's so easy to talk about it. It's so easy to show kind of fancy demos. Now the truth who's working in this, they know, I know, my students know, is that it's what's under the hood that counts. But yeah, so I would say, finally, Kimberly, that thing popped up somewhere. There we go. What do you think, Eamon? Right? So don't worry about that. Simple model, and you can still build something really, really cool. So yeah, this one, yeah, I mean, in it we carve it out into two tables and so forth, and I'll talk about data modeling as we go through this challenge. But and of course you have all the recording inside the class. But it's really just these three tables that, or initially it was just two tables, but what we built was really cool. I mean, it just really worked for her. Cool. I will say connect with Scott Ferguson in our group, and I'll show you his work, his handiwork, healthcare, oh, healthcare decision insights. So that is his company, and I'll show you he did. I think he. Oh yeah, there we go. I hope it's still active. Sometimes the publish to web links. Oh yeah, there we go. Right. So. And you can get some idea. You can talk. Maybe you can swap some ideas about how he built it. But I don't think the model part. Don't worry about creating tables there. Just go with the data set you have, and it'll still work. Cool.
Makes sense. Yep. Thanks,
all right.
Avi.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right, guys. So I promised you a question. So let's see. Oh, so you had a lot of opinions. Yeah, so I think you guys were thinking along the same lines that I was, that if the customer data did exist in here, in the data table where, imagine it said sales amount, and then it said customer ID, name, city, and something, you can carve it off and make it a lookup table. I've done that. I call it unflatten. I talk about that in the course as well. But if that's, yeah, so if that situation exists, you can do that. All right, cool. So hey, if I let's do. So we're gonna tag back and forth. That's if you've been to Talk Power BI, we do the same thing. We go to the phone to the students, and then I take one in the chat window. So go ahead and post your question. And again, if you posted it, I apologize. Just post it again, and I'll kind of take the first one or the first interesting one. We'll see. I'll wait for you guys. And while I'm waiting, I'll try to figure out the like how the heck would I have you call in? Cool. Okay, I'm getting there. I mean, got it. Okay, I got it. Host video participant on both password. Alright guys, I think I have the link. Weird. Okay, let's see what you guys are asking. Can we update a parameter using a slider in the dashboard? And other question I got was, not interesting, we need to insert today's date in any column. Okay, cool. I think we can do both of these. Let's go. Okay, so let's go here and come on. Come on, Microsoft. So Jen, let's take Jen's question first. How do we insert today's date into a new column? Good one. Let's see what we have in here. So we have the Salon Income V2 open already. And it is opening. It's opening. And let's see how. I think so this, what you're seeing is the ultimate calendar table, my friend. And today's date is simple. Well, so date time dot local now is going to give you like a date timestamp, and I used this complicated looking stuff to get just the date, but I think there's a simpler way to do it as well. Interesting. I mean, yeah, it's always like when you look at the stuff you did like some time ago, it looks funny. Let's try that. So let's go. By the way, since I'm talking about the calendar table, certainly go to, oops, not here. If you go to my channel, it's right on the home page of the channel. So Ultimate Calendar Table, great resource. Everybody should have it. The rule is that if you have a date column, you should have that. Okay, let's see if it can. Oh, gosh, this thing. Don't worry, we got this. All right, guys. So as I said, sorry about the timing. I know some folks were asking about this. So in the first hour, I'll try to make sure. Frankly, my goal is to stop talking at 30 minutes. Stop talking 30 minutes. Didn't make it this time, and then I just want to dive into your questions. So as to how long it goes, it kind of depends on what questions you ask, and we'll do other things to kind of make it easier. So if you can kind of get a jump on a question, you can know that, oh yeah, I mean, mine is going to be like one of the first ones that Avi picks up. Right, but again, frankly, in one sense, you don't need me. I mean, if you have all the resources, you feel kind of equipped there. Where did the challenge accepted thing go? You have my tutorial if you're inside my course. Of course you have access to all of those material, and there's tons of Power BI training out there. So feel free to kind of leverage that, use that, and yeah, just go through this process and just bring up. Oh, and of course we have. Oh, I forgot. We have our Talk Power BI Facebook group as well. How can I forget that? So that's a great place to get help. Great place, right? So obviously, guys, my time is. I usually stay on until people are asking questions. We'll see how long this lasts. But I'm only one person, so you can go here, and it's the whole community. How many members? Oh my gosh! What? I haven't been checking this. 1,600 members, and a lot of cool ones too. And of course we have inside our class. We have our own dedicated group. It's smaller, but it's also cozier. Yeah, so that's our group. So if you're a student, that should be the first place to go there. So yeah, I'm here. I'm here to help you, but there's a community behind you as well. I should have mentioned that earlier. Resources, community. I'll make sure I talk about it. Oops, tomorrow. But we're here solving Jen's question. So we'll say 011103 Jen cable, get today's date in query editor. Now the simple answer is date time dot local now. Now if there are other approaches, I would love to hear. Just type that in the chat box. But we're gonna go here, and so notice how I was doing this one. So I'll stick that in here as well. And again, guys, everybody who signed up for the challenge, will make sure you get access to these notes. So that makes sense. And I apologize, I haven't been able to do it yet, but it's gonna show up on your challenge accepted page down at the bottom. Resources, we'll link it up. That hey, here's how to get the files and notes and all of that. So that's one approach, and that gives you yeah, and of course you can stick the same formula in a column, and it'll work. So it'll return a date like this. What is the other option? So I'm tempted to try this and just do new source and let's do blank query and see if there's a simpler way. Today? Oh, is it today? Okay. I don't know. What? No, that doesn't make sense. Oh wait, you're thinking DAX. So DAX is okay, but I don't remember the last time I created a calculated column in DAX. Because again, for me, the kitchen is the query editor. I follow that religiously. It's big if you ask me. So no, I'm not gonna use today. Although yeah, that's a good answer for DAX. So can't use today here. What if? So we can use this one. So this would give me the date. What else could we do? What about actually let's Google Power Query functions. I think I want to look at date functions and see if there's like a date only, number date functions. Awesome. Let's just go there. So guys, earlier I would be consulting with somebody, and of course often I do it remote, so we're sharing a screen, and I got really embarrassed when I had to Google somebody. And now I think that was just so silly, because I feel like learning is 80-20, So there's that 20% which I try to teach in my course. I'm not sure where the line is for the 20%. There's that 20% of knowledge that's going to give you 80% of the results, right? So this is going to get you here. But all this weird stuff, which you do need to kind of keep growing here, it's okay to Google the heck out of it. It's really hard to learn this from Google and YouTube. And of course, that's why I could do my structured course. So let's say date, maybe date time, date from text. What about date from? Can I do that? What about, let's say, so I say date time local now, but then I say date dot from. Let's try this. Oh, Shoot, it worked. So hey, cool. That was easy. So instead of that formula, you can, you can use that one if you like, but this one is simpler. So that's it. Just say add column, stick that in there, and that's today's date. Jen, let me know if that helped. Yep. Yeah. So today, yep. Just go in there, and of course, I was doing it like a value, but you can do this for a table, whichever table you're in, like income expense. Let's go over there. You'll just say add column, custom column. And it'll say today's date, and you will just paste that in, and that'll give you today's date. Now, of course, I have no idea what you're doing with it, but I will say that the calendar table, the ultimate calendar table, is really, really rich. If you want to do things which compare with today's date, if you want to, so I'll show you some of the stuff that it has, and again, you can just go to my channel and grab it. Oops, I must have cleaned it up because it had a lot of columns. Let's go add it. Yeah, there we go. I did clean it up. So this is the full table, and oh shoot, what's going on? Where's my? Is this? I don't get it. Remove added. I'll try to bring it up. All right. So ultimate calendar table. It has all of that. It lets you filter current and past state. It lets you say that which is the current month, which is the prior month, which is the current year, which is the last year, fiscal year, last fiscal year, all of that stuff. So look at the calendar table on my channel, youtube.com/PowerBIPro. Awesome, Jan. So Jan said that helped Jen, not Jan, Jen, I don't know. Sorry why I was mixing it up. Have that created already. So helpful. All right, so let's see if we do have folks on the phone. So yeah, we're gonna tag team. So Amy, Eamon, Lisa, Mike, Teresa. If you have a question, you're a go. Okay, maybe we should do a clock. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go back to YouTube. Let's go. What's your? Yeah, let's go back to YouTube. So YouTube, my friends, and you know. I've tried it in earlier calls where I would scroll and kind of keep all the questions and I'm not very good at that. So I'll wait for your question. While we're waiting for that, put something in. I will go over to RNG then. So since I'm not getting 22, so let's go RNG and this one looks enough. Can we update a parameter using a slider in the dashboard? Oh, absolutely. Although I would be careful. I would just change the word. Update. I don't know what to call it. Actually, parameter is a good word, but I'm hesitant. Karanjit. Okay, am I saying it wrong? Oh, sorry. Copy paster. Okay, got it fixed now. All right, Karanjit. Great. So yes. So I'm hesitant. Let me close. Should I close these files? I might need it to show something. We'll keep it open. I want to go learn Power BI. This guy. Yes, this is a good one. So I'm a little hesitant in using the term parameters. I totally understand what you're saying, but they use parameters to mean something else. Parameters means something that is passed into the query editor. I will say I'm not a huge fan of parameters because I think, so you guys, you got to remember that Power BI Desktop is the authoring environment, right? This is not what the end users should use or are supposed to use. They're supposed to go online and you know, I don't know if I have any decent reports here, but yeah, they're supposed to consume it through here. And query parameters, right? These ones, good luck finding this on that interface on PowerBI.com, right? So end users can't use it. I want something which lets me build a report which thousands of users can use, and they can tweak it, change it how they want. So parameters is not the answer. I do use parameters, but they are for the authors. Okay, that's my take on it. So I don't know what to call it. Let's call them. Oh shoot, I'm gonna let's say input. All right, so let's go back here. So so we'll say, can the end user, so I'll rephrase the question, can user input supply input using a slider? Yes, you can. Awesome. Let's do this. Are you guys ready? Oh, this is gonna be so cool. This is gonna be fun, guys. So let's go here, and I'm not really sure. So slider. I have an idea in my head. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, great. What if? Let's try it. So let's do sales. So let's go here. Do a slider. Gosh. So for a slider, we can do dates. How about that? Slider to provide input. Well, actually, maybe this would be easier. So, Karanjit, tell me a little bit like what the slider is. So, of course, if it's a slider, something like this. Let's grab some numeric things. Come on. So if we do, dates is for, okay. All right. You give me the easy one then. So if we change a slider like this, and let's try sales in month, and we're gonna do a little bit of work here. We're gonna remove the year filter, and in here I'm gonna add month year, not month, and let's see if it sorts correctly. It does. So you can see that we have our date range, and then we have this data, and let's see. Bingo. So yeah, you can definitely use sliders. I was frankly thinking of a slightly more complex scenario, but if this works for you, just stick that in, and that's it. Now, of course, well, I hope you are using a calendar table. This is where calendar table is required. So calendar table. So guys, let's go to that one really quick. Where is my channel? Oops, not here. This guy, yes. So if we go to the calendar table playlist, there are links down there which will let you download, but the first one talks about what is the calendar table, why is it important, and what are the key elements, right? So if you have a field, you need that, and why is it important, and what does it need, and it needs a few things. So again, the whole thing kind of explains it, and then it lets you, shows you how you can download it, and then it talks about some of the really cool tips and tricks in here, right? So that's that. So for dates, you have to have a calendar table. Just don't fight me on this, please. I mean, I hear people like, oh, my data is at a yearly level. I'm like, I don't care. Yearly level, monthly level, just stick a calendar table in there. You're going to be better off. You're going to need it sooner or later. So calendar table, this one is easy. There are other fun scenarios where you can use slices. So Karanjit, let's see if it helps you. In my finance data set, I'm using a date parameter to set the connection to the Excel file, which I kept in date named folders. Now, just bring them all in. How big the data can be. So, I mean, let me ask you that. So, generally, in old world, I would be like, I only need this year's worth of data. So guys, again, I mean, if you ask me, it's better to just bring the whole damn thing in, and then you have a lot of filtering options. I mean, you can throw an ear slicer here and let the user fiddle with it, right? So you can throw an ear here, you can throw a quarter. So Kanajit, what do you say to that? Just bring it all in. I mean, so Power BI can handle millions of rows, hundreds of millions of rows. You can even go beyond that if you're careful with the data structure, right? So why not do it? Bring the whole thing in, and this way you can also publish the report on Power BI, and they would be able to use that too. They would be able to use it filter, right? So let's see. Oh, data is in gigabytes. Sorry, shoot, I should have read that. Gigabytes, one day data. Wow. Okay, so currently is working with some big data stuff. Sorry. So yeah, apologize, guys. So yeah. So folks, my YouTube friends on the phone. What do you think? Is there a way to I would say it's not possible. Like the person says, get me this file using a slicer. Yeah, this parameter, they just have to go in here and click edit parameters. That's the only way the data will come in. Oh yeah, thank you, guy. Yeah, so billion rows is not a problem. A guy just commented that they just demoed a trillion row data set. So you need something else then. So if it's gigabytes of data, the biggest data set that I've heard being pulled in was 1 terabyte in storage. So it was in SQL, and in SQL they looked at the size of the database and it was 1 terabyte. Now they brought it into, I'm going to say, Power BI, and it got compressed. First of all, the compression is great, to 250 gigabytes. So that's the biggest model I've heard of. And you can go beyond. But the key is not really to use Power BI Desktop. That would be pretty insane. I'm not even sure. I don't think it would be possible. Is to upgrade to the elder cousin, SSAS Tabular. That scales like crazy. Or its cloud brother, Azure Analysis Services. So Karanjit, would that help you think? So SSAS Tabular, you go to that, and the technology is same. I mean, you look in there, and it's like, it's funny. I mean, I used to be scared of it, but you look in there, and it's got the same relationship view. It's got the same DAX, all of that stuff. So that's, I guess, is my best answer to you. Let's go to phones. Karanjit, they're going to come back, and Azure, yeah, so Rick has the same comment. Power BI Premium and Azure SSAS. I'm not sure you need Power BI Premium. Power BI Premium is more on the consumption side. Like if you want to create reports and you want 5,000 users to see it, but you don't want to, have them have buy licenses for each one. So Azure Analysis Services, you can just go just for this, kind of standalone, or on-prem SSAS Tabular. I'm a huge fan of this. I haven't quite played with this. Awesome. So Rick kind of agrees with me. So phone, a quick check-in. Let's see. Ooh, Mike had a comment. So guys, yeah, a chat. If you chat, I would say just unmute and talk to me. I get lost in watching the YouTube chat. Oh yeah, Mike has to hop on a call. Awesome. Okay, Teresa, yeah, I owe you that one. I apologize. Shoot. Okay, so yeah, so
that's okay. I haven't actually looked into it any farther either.
Yeah, it's okay to bug me, all right? I mean, I would want that actually. So yeah, I mean, just bug me and I'll get to it. What I really need to do is send it to Anna. She's on my team. Probably a lot of you have exchanged emails with her. And
yeah, I got an email about us meeting when I'm up there in Seattle.
Yeah. So if I send this to Anna, I know that'll be good hand. Then it'll definitely get done. So
okay.
Yeah. All right, cool. So yeah, on the phone, if you have any questions, just speak up. Otherwise, let's go on YouTube. Throw something else at me, guys. And so far, I don't feel we have hit a question where I felt like talking to that person like what was necessary. I'm waiting for something deeper. something more intriguing maybe, where I can have one of you call in and yeah, and try that. Let's see. And again, guys, this is yeah. I mean, you don't. I'm here to help. I'm gonna be here for 5 days straight. Well, not straight, but you know what I mean. But yeah, you don't need me. This is not about me. You have the resources. I know you're ready. I know you're capable with maybe a little bit of help. So you have the tutorial. Select your project, and just go through the steps as quick as you can. Speed is key here. Agile BI. Connect to the data, clean up, define measures, create a report, publish and use. If you do get stuck somewhere, that's where you should get help from the community. Oops, not this is the student one, but the open community. Of course, if you are a student, then post in the Learn Power BI group, or join me in one of the calls, and I'll be happy to help. That's weird. Okay, let's see. Oh boy. So Guy has a question. Let's see if you can tackle this. I was really hoping to save this one for later, my friend. So it feels like it's something that I have solved, but I have forgotten. So, but let's see how we can take it on. 20. How to bring in multiple sheets with multiple tabs. Oops. Append. Okay, so Karanjit is saying, yes, SSAS is an alternative. I've done a similar project. Users are fascinated with Power BI. Have it in Power BI this time. Oh wait, so guys, this is the back end. You can still have the reporting in Power BI, right? So you can have it set up to SSAS, but then you can. So sorry, guy. I'm just gonna go back for a quick second. You can have all the reporting in Blitzy Power BI. Users are not gonna know. They don't care. They don't care what your backend is. Is it an Excel Power Pivot file? Is it a Power BI desktop file? Is it SSAS Tabular, Azure Analysis Services? They don't know. They don't care, right? So that's your model. Remember, that's what we started off with. You got to disconnect your data model with the reports. Your model is not the reports. We're talking about the model. So this one is, this one is the choice is Azure Analysis Services, SSAS, PBI Desktop. These are all kind of authoring, modeling tools. Of course, PowerBI.com. There's Power Pivot, a whole bunch of stuff. But that's not the report. You can come into Power BI, have an SSAS model, and just say, you know what? I want to build reports off of that. So just click Analysis Services, and just point to it and go. You can. So Karanji, tell me what you think about that, right? So right now I have an Analysis Services on my machine. Of course, you can connect to Azure Analysis Services or anything like that, and just point to a model and give them Power BI. I mean, of course, I don't blame them. Power BI is amazing. So now I'm connected to the model, which is sitting on SSAS, not in this file. I mean, if you notice that this file, it doesn't even have the data or the relationship tab. It's just connected off to the server. But I can come in here and I can say, hey, give me sales by, let's try month, year. Oh, Rod has a suggestion for Guy. I'll get to it. And, right, so this is Power BI connected to SSAS server, and you can connect Power BI to any of those. So Karanjit, what do you think about this, right? So you said, oh, I've thought about SSAS, but the users wanted Power BI. Give them both, my friend. You can have your cake and eat it too. All right, so cool. All right, so let's, so Karanjit, hit me back. I want to know what you think about that, but I'm gonna, let's see, view audio. I'm going to look at, so let's see. So there's some comments there. Bhavesh, I think that's what's needed to create a function. A guy is saying, do I append first, edit first, then append? Bhavesh is saying, create a function. Use it to pull them one by one, like looping. Yes, that would definitely work. I will say that functions, I recorded the whole thing. I studied it. I have the module in the class, but I don't use it often enough. So I'm not very handy with it. So I might have to refer to my own notes, but we'll see. So Rod is saying you can use a macro to merge. I'll say that's obviously that can work, but I'm very wary of a solution which straddles these two worlds. So we're trying to solve a problem, and you know, and sometimes, so I live in the Power BI land, and I have two tools. I have my kitchen, which is my query editor. That's where I do all my cooking, cleaning, shaping, and then I have my I'm still working with analogy, guys, but there's an awesome buffet you prepare, and you prepare this using measures. All right, so that I'm working with that, but then the data can be in SQL, Excel, and sometimes you can solve things here, but I'm wary of that. Like, you know, yeah, I try to keep it here, and I feel like that problem, I would like to solve that here, Guy Johnson's problem, right? Unless you have control over the data, I don't know, yeah, something like that. So yeah, I would be kind of wary of that. Formatted same append should work, I think. Either way, associations are so slow. Oh gosh, so yeah, so speed is another matter. So Guy, it sounds like, have you solved it? Have you already tried it and solved it? Are you looking for a faster way? If so, I'm not sure I can help you there. I mean, if you found it slow, I don't know, guys. I mean, so for one, if somebody says that, I should be writing it in the notes here. Oh, actually, this is great discussion, guys. I love it. I love the participation. So, so guys saying that those methods are slow. So what I typically say is, and I'm being a little bit of devil's advocate. For all I care, it could take 8 hours. So we had a data set which took some time to refresh, but we had set up automatic refresh, right? And we ran it every night. It didn't take 8 hours. It took like 1+ hours, but 1+ hour. But we didn't really care. We're like, yeah, sure. I mean, everybody comes in the morning and they see the latest data. So I want to know, have you like already solved it, and it's just slow? I have it working. Ah, interesting. I'm pretty intrigued to kind of see a solution. I have it working, but a refresh of the data takes sometimes 10 minutes. Yeah, so I'm not sure. So that would be my first response, that set it to automatic refresh, and then you're not waiting for 10 minutes, right? So, yeah, so Jen is suggesting that maybe in CSV format may be faster. So let's park that for now. And let's talk about slow. So this would be my first response, automatic refresh. But I have struggled with this. So guys, at some point, you're working with a data set. And so this was what was happening with me. I would add one step in the query editor, and it felt like it would take minutes. Maybe it wasn't actually taking minutes, but what's happening with my query editor? Right, so it makes authoring a big challenge sometimes. So if it's slow enough, so your end users don't care, because for them the automatic refresh is set up slow enough that authoring is really challenging, then yeah, maybe solve at source. I mean, so of course in our case the source was SQL. So what we did was we did some transformations here. I saw somebody else post on Talk Power BI recently where they said the query editor was taking a long time and use R script inside the query editor. Now, I'm not equipped to do that, but man, that comment had my attention. So in your query editor, let's see if it works for me. I don't know why it's kind of freezing up. Oh, there we go. Yeah, perfect. So here, you can run an R script. So this, we are inside the query editor, and of course I wouldn't know the R of R script, but that's what I heard. So those could be options that you just call R, and yeah, they said that query editor was really slow, and R was like, bang. All right, let's see what other comments came in. 6 years of data with 12 months of data each, maybe 200 rows. Yeah, I mean, that's not big data. Yeah, so good suggestions, but I think some of them may not work. So yearly spreadsheet, I'm going to write that down. So, I mean, this, oops, not what is going on? There we go. All right, so 6 years with 12 months of data, 200. So guys, I mean, so of course I would call this, like, data isn't big, but I know sometimes when it's working with kind of Excel, even with CSV, it can feel slow. My recommendation would be, so Guy, I want to hear from you. What if you set up an automatic refresh? Would that kind of solve it? Would that, like, yeah, cool, I mean, so I'll set it and forget it, right? Then I don't have to worry about it. Or, oops, my chat box just froze. Hopefully everything is working on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, solve it at source, which I realize you don't have that much options given that it's Excel and so forth. CSV was one idea that Jen had. You can try that. Again, I'm not sure if that's going to be really faster. Use R. Now, there was another comment about disabling. Now, I'm not sure if this can help us. So, if you have, let's say, Jan, Feb, March, and you're combining all of them into Jan, Feb, March into one, like total complete table or something like that. Now, obviously, if you have separate queries for these, you're going to disable them, like do not enable load. Actually, you know what? That was a fair. So certainly disable load for what I call kind of underlying Lego block queries, if you have them. I've known Guy for a long time now. He's hung around the channel, so I think he's already done that. So auto refresh doesn't help much. Why? I mean, as I said, auto refresh, for all you know, I mean, do you need more than a daily refresh? Like, if you need that data to be like current, but I don't know, it's coming in Excel CSV files, are they getting updated every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes? So why? I'm just curious. I'm just wondering, like, if you set up an automatic refresh and every day it's sucked in, you come in and there's no wait, why would it not help in your scenario? Yeah, so while I'm waiting for his comment, Nolly's asking, how do you set up automatic refresh? There are a few different ways to do it. The easiest is if you publish it to PowerBI.com, and then you go to your data set and you use, you can obviously kick off like a one-time refresh if you want, but my favorite is schedule refresh. Now the trick here is, so again, guys, I mean, for those who are in my course, there are detailed videos in the course talking about the refresh and automatic refresh and the gateway. So if you have on-premise sources, Nolly, I hope that's your real name, not just your screen name, then you would need to set up a gateway. Yeah, so it's not that hard, right? So just one step that you need to take, and that's it. It lets PowerBI.com sitting in the cloud access your data. Yeah, so okay, cool. So so Guy did say that, yep, he has disabled the load. Yeah, I'm not sure I have any other ideas besides this. R seems really promising, and again, I was very tempted to start reading it based on the comment in the Talk Power BI group. Um, I would say look into that. Maybe post, maybe hit the person who had the comment. Let's see, who was it. If you go here, Talk Power BI. Woohoo! I'm live. Where did that comment go? R. I swear I saw it. Slow. Let's try slow. Fast. Ooh, bingo. Look at this. Yeah, it's really... Okay. For a second, I was like, oh my gosh, I hope it wasn't Guy who posted this. So yeah, so join. Millions of rows. Lookup table is only at 3,000. It's significantly as load time. I hope they had mentioned like how long, but it sounds like really long. And look at that. I mean, that's what got my attention. Using R takes seconds. So hit up Philip Dion. He's a man. All right. Let's see. Circle back on the phone. So the crowd is thinning on the phone, and that's okay. You know, you don't have to stay on for me. So Eamon, Lisa, Teresa, if you have something, go ahead and ask. Okay. Oh gosh. All right. Cool.
Yeah, Lisa. I don't have anything. It's just a little overwhelming.
Really?
Watching
Well,
everything, so I don't have anything.
tell me about that though. I wanna talk about that. Why is it overwhelming?
I think part of it is overwhelming, just because I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to compare the dreams in my head against like what I'm seeing here and the data output that we have.
Yeah.
What you said about taking maybe the consolidated data and breaking it apart makes complete sense, and maybe that's something I need to look into. We also don't have an awesome IT department, so we talked a while back, like months ago. We're talking November, December, about being able to get the data out of. We use Dynamics AX, Microsoft AX, and it's just not the most friendly system to work with. So for me, it's just I think it's a mental struggle, more so than maybe once I start doing it. I was encouraged by our corporate office because they are actually using it for like audit stuff, not quite financial details like I am, but it's nice to know that they use it. So encouraging if I use it, maybe that'll
so
they'll encourage it.
I hear you, and I feel what you're going through. If it's okay, I'm going to share a little bit from my perspective, and so starting my own business and running this program, it's been the oddest of journey, totally unexpected, and when you talk about kind of the mental struggle, I'll rephrase that a little bit. Kind of the inner struggle, all that goes on inside. So in running my business, in doing this, that has been my biggest struggle, right? It's and so in this business, it's so I think that's important, and that's worthwhile, and you can't kind of win the war without winning that battle. And I mean, I've struggled with that too. So what I feel is like when I get overwhelmed, I get shut down. It's not like I'm slow. I get completely shut down. So that's not good. I would say if you do feel overwhelmed, just kind of set back. And just focus on just a really small thing, right? So Stephen Covey, the classic book, 7 Habits, he talks about the circle of Zara. right? And frankly, I use it on my son when I go talk to him and say, "Hey, clean your room." I don't say clean your room because I'll say just clean this corner, keep it clean for the next week, all right? And then say, okay, now clean this desk and keep it clean for the next week, right? Just take a step back. Yeah, overwhelmed. You don't need to feel overwhelmed. You don't have to do it all. Uh, yeah, so I would say, tell me a little bit about the things you've already done.
I haven't done anything besides enroll in your course.
Okay. Tell me.
And then I think about it, but I like your your Stephen Covey analogy with the bedroom and your son, because that does make more sense. I think that if I just opened up your course and actually like started looking at it and just starting to understand it more from the beginning perspective, instead of like some of the stuff I'm watching you do now. You took I can't remember her name because I'm terrible remembering things, but the hairdresser, and so we kind of jumped from like her story and kind of into it pretty quickly to the end product of, hey, this is what we were able to do. So I think I need to do what you're saying and start cleaning the corner of my room and just
So here's the truth, Lisa. We got this data. So this was an experiment. I had never done this before, and I thought that. So when I was going for it, I didn't know what data Kimberly is going to bring for us, and I was like, oh my gosh, if it's too simple or if it's too complex, it's going to be a disaster. So complex, we're going to be stuck in kind of the mud for a long time, wouldn't really get anywhere, and if it's too simple, we'll be done. And so when she came in with this data, man, frankly, it doesn't get any simpler than this. And somebody commented that we're going to be done in 30 minutes, and I agreed with them. Well, now again, if I was working like heads down with her, like I typically do when I'm visiting a client, we work for like 3 days nonstop. So we were kind of working on and off in a class format, but it took us 4 weeks. So again, I mean, sometimes you see the end result, you don't see what's going on under the hood, right? I mean, you see a duck moving, you don't see the furious battling. Let me show you a little bit of the furious battling, right? So, and of course, we're gonna walk through this as we go through this project, but I want to share all the furious battling with you. So it takes work, it takes effort, but we were talking about that inner journey, that inner struggle, right? One lesson that I've learned is words are important, are really important. They have power. Words that you say and words that you think. So I'm careful about. About the same journey, I could have felt frustrated, like, oh my gosh, we weren't able to do half of the things that I hoped we would, or whatever, right? But you can also enjoy the journey, and that's so important because, and I'm gonna say it, and you're gonna say, yeah, I mean, everybody gets it at the word level, but even for myself, I'm always reminding myself, which is because the journey is all there is. There is no destination. There's nothing there. There's no perfect dashboard which is done. There's no perfect life where everything is settled down. It just doesn't happen. So if you're not enjoying the journey, there's nothing there. All right, cool. I'm gonna get off the soapbox and I'll show you the battling under the hood. Let's see. Do I have it open already? Oops. Not this guy. I think I have it already open. Okay, so did you join recently? Were you able to participate a little bit in the real Power BI project, or no?
No, I didn't join any of that.
Hey, we'll run it again, and of course, the best real Power BI project is your Power BI project, right? So don't worry about that. But again, I mean, look at this data set, simple as it gets, and at that point, I said 30 minutes, and we're done. But I'll show you the process. So week 1, we go in, and we ask her a lot of questions. And then week 2, when we came into week 2, I was actually at a very different place, because earlier I hadn't realized that this data is kind of apples and oranges in so many ways. So what you see here is like it seemed like she's capturing daily information, which is true, but I mean, she never told us. We never asked her. We don't know. This data is actually monthly. It doesn't really apply at a daily level, like the rent. So imagine if we took her graph, and if you look at her work, I'm not going to bring up all of them, but yeah, I mean, they were like work in progress, and we can actually, maybe I'll bring up one of them. And we went through so many changes. So we realized that we can't show all that data in like a daily graph, because some of it is monthly data. So what it did was, you would see like her sales, and then whoop, like rent or something like that, and then whoop, so it's something really basic, but we found it out as we went step by step. And then, kind of the same thing. I mean, week 3 we're still working, week 4 we're still working, and I had this overall plan in the beginning, and we kept modifying this plan. And oh, actually, I apologize. I thought we did, but apparently we didn't. Earlier, I had such an aggressive plan, and one of that included, I want to build a forecast model using variables. You know what happened to that?
Moved to the last.
We never got to it. Yeah, we chopped it off. Okay. Yeah. So of course, if we had continued to work with her, we would, but it didn't happen. And initially, I was like, "Yep, we'll do this." Boom, boom, boom. So we cut stuff out, and I think that's good. You got to be actually brutal about scoping down, because we inevitably start too big. So there's this quote which I love. I feel like writing an answer. Which is, we overestimate what we can do in a day. We grossly, severely underestimate what we can do in a year. And in a year, right? So my friend talks about, he talks about, he has this beautiful analogy. He's like, Avi, what we end up doing is, we have 20 balls on the field, and we're trying to move each one up 1 yard. And I mean, that just sounds like such hard work. So if we just focus on that, moving one ball 20 yards, what kind of progress are we going to have at the end of the year? If every day we just focus on that thing. So scoping down is a great idea, right? I mean, and that's what we did, right? So, oops, I lost my file again. So yeah, we scope down, forecast variable is gone, out. Week 4, we come in. Week 5, we present her something. Now, week 5, and again, you have access to all this inside the course. It might be good to kind of watch that call. I also did recaps. The recaps are much smaller. The calls, of course, went for R plus, because we were talking to Kimberly. I was talking to students. But so I presented it to her, and she was like, wow, this is great. But then I went on to say all the shortcomings. And I said, this is where we could improve. This is where we could improve, right? So pause there for a second, and then I picked up this model again, because I presented this actually at the Power BI Summit that just happened. And guess what? I didn't like the model, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why did we build it this way? And I tweaked it. I didn't like overhaul it, right? So I'm still working on it, on something that apparently should have taken 30 minutes. So yeah, I think you're selling yourself short. Selling yourself short. I think you are capable of great things, but yeah, just go easy on yourself. Be nice to yourself. And so I was talking to one person, and they said, Avi, I'm in diapers right now. Right? I mean, I look at your stuff, and I can't kind of get it. I'm in diapers right now. I'm going to write this down too. So, but again, the words we use are incredibly powerful. So I stopped him, and I said, don't ever say that again. The way I see it, let's see if I can, hold on, let's see if I can. So I said, you're not in diapers. You're a, I should have, sorry, I don't know if this helps. But yeah, you're a rocket sitting on the launch pad. It's sitting on the launch pad. What an amazing position to be in, right? Would you be anywhere else? You know, if you wanted to go to the moon, I would want to be on the launch pad strapped into my rockets. right? So strapped into the rocket sitting on launch pad. So that's where I see you, Lisa, right? So take a step back, focus in, circle of Zorro, and yeah, and you have all the support from me, from the community in the course, gosh, what was I gonna say? Yeah, and you know, it's gonna be amazing. All right.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Cool. All right, and thank you for sharing that. So, guys, I'm talking to folks on YouTube. I read a quote. Funnily enough, this was on a calendar in like my grocery store, and it said that I don't know. Oh man, I've messed it up now. The kind of the It's kind of something like inner journey is the only one that matters. I know I talk about Power BI, but there's so much more. And if you, even if you're working with Power BI, you'll quickly realize that it's not about M. It's not about writing something nifty in M. I mean, I enjoy doing that. I love it, and it is very empowering. It's a great enabler. It's not about writing that fancy DAX measure, but it's all about what it enables you to do. And if you ask me, it enables you to impact more people and solve bigger problems. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Right? So yeah, this is, guys, this isn't really about Power BI, right? Okay. But that's good. That stuff is important, guys. So and you know, I'm glad Lisa kind of brought that up, because guess what? It's not just her. It's all of us, and certainly me as well. Yeah. So it's real, and unless you deal with that, you can't unless you kind of overcome kind of that inner struggle, you can't have that big impact in the outside world, right? You can't show up in a big way. So my business coach, that's what he challenged. So it's funny. So we get like these one-on-one calls with him. And so, sorry guys, I apologize. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to apologize. We're not off track. We're exactly on track. We're exactly where we need to be, because this stuff is important. So I'll go on and share. No apologies. So he had like a one-on-one call with every student in his program. And he gets on the phone, and I was thinking, like, you know, he's gonna give like advice, and he's like, yeah, we need to do this and this, and he said nothing. He's like, Avi, what do you need from me? And I'm like, what? Oh, no, tell me something. Tell me what I need to do. And the only thing he said was, Avi, show up, man. Show the fuck up, right? Show up in a big way, right? I mean, just let it, right? I mean, show up with. Everybody has fear, but yeah, we gotta show up. And yeah, man, I'm kind of trying to live up to that challenge that my coach set for me, and show up. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. Okay, cool. Power BI, anybody? Let's see what's going on. So yeah, let's so folks, let's go see. Oh my gosh, you guys are still on. I thought I was afraid I would have lost half the crowd. And yeah, sorry, I realized there was a little bit of an echo there, but that was a important conversation, guys. So what do you have? Jen has such a sweet comment. Learning Power BI has changed the whole way I look at my job. And you know what? I mean, I say this, and sometimes I feel people don't feel like it's like I'm just making a comment. I say it's changed my life. I mean, for one, your job is a huge part of your life. I mean, I was spending, when I was working in Microsoft, I was spending more time there than with my kids. Right? And we all do that. I mean, that's the life we live. So yeah, job is an important part of life anyway. But again, I don't know. So I feel like it's possible that I could have taken this inner journey while I was still within Microsoft, but stepping out from there just like put me on jets. And guys, it's the hardest thing I've ever done. Struggling with yourself. So here's what happened with me, Jen, is that I feel, this is my take on it, that when I was within Microsoft, I was that was my identity, right? I was you know, I would go to parties like, hey, how you doing? And hey, I'm Avi, I'm a business analyst in Microsoft, and that's it. I hadn't realized. I feel like that was in a way my mask. I hid behind that identity. I wore that, and I like, oh yeah, this is it. But once I left Microsoft, that was stripped away from me. And when you build something of your own, it's your creation, it's your baby. So you have to ask yourself those hard questions, like, who the F am I, right? I mean, who am I? What am I doing here? What is my purpose in life? And man, yeah, so that's been super hard. So somebody was asking me about kind of being an employee versus being a consultant. And if you ask me, it's not that different. For one, people say, oh, you're your own boss. Nothing could be farther from the truth. You trade having one boss to having tens or hundreds of boss. Right? Every student in my class is my boss, right? In a way, every follower is my boss. I mean, they can post a nasty comment. It does affect me. If a student and I ask for a refund or give some negative feedback or something, it affects me, right? So, it's not that different. But what's worthwhile is taking a higher path. It's not about job, not about consulting, but what is your life about? What is your goal about? Are you doing that? Are you fulfilling that mission? And I'm not sure. I mean, I'm trying, and I think that's the best you can do, right? So you can stay, kind of just do a job or consulting. It doesn't matter much, but yeah, I think it's worth it to go for that moonshine, So yeah, all right. I do want to get to your Power BI questions. So if you have them in there, stick that in the comments, and we will take some on. But Jen, thank you. I appreciate your feedback. So Jen says, I can relate to everything you're saying. Yeah. So I'll wait for your Power BI question. So I hope I haven't like derailed the whole conversation, but. So hit me up, ask me something about Power BI, bring us back. Actually, let me scroll back a little bit. So Bhavesh had to leave, great session, log off. Rick is asking, is working with the data from MS Dynamics a struggle? Let's take that. So Rick, if you're still on, just ping me on there. Oh yeah, yes, awesome. Okay, good. So let's take that one. That's it's not more of a struggle than any other data set, I suppose. Oops, that's not what I wanted to go. Talk Power BI. Let's come in here, and let's go over here, and we'll go. So 020658, and somehow the paste doesn't work great if I do it directly. So here's my experience working with Dynamics, is that we went straight to the backend, which was SQL Server. And of course there were lots of tables in there. And let's see if I can. I don't have like Dynamics on here, but there were lots of tables. So we did it very small piece at a time. So we started with like one small corner. So bring in, I think whatever was tracking like the sales information, and this was, I think in the table it was something like order or order detail, something like that, right? And we brought that in, and related tables. Some, actually I would say some related tables, not all, some related tables. And of course what we're doing is trying to build a model where we have the data table and the W's, the who, what, where, when, how. And one key piece, I'm not sure if it applies in your case, was we were really focused on the salesperson, because we were really trying to motivate a sales team. That was the goal for that project. So we wanted the sales lead to see how their team is performing. We wanted the salesperson themselves to see how they're performing. We wanted them to be able to compare, benchmark their performance against the other salespeople that, oh, I'm falling behind, I'm top of the crop, good, keep going. Of course, the standard stuff like how are they doing against the targets and all that stuff, that was all there. And we had the target, we had the stretch target, so they can exactly monitor how they're doing. We wanted to keep it mobile ready, which is easy to do in Power BI. In fact, you don't even have to lift a finger. Dashboards are mobile ready. What else did we do? So, and of course, we moved slowly from being more actionable. So an idea here is, earlier we were simply telling them like what one of our class students called FII reporting, right? Oh, I love this word, FII reporting. Oh yeah, just FII. It's not actionable. You can't do anything with it. So we were showing them a lot of numbers, but they're not directly actionable. So we were showing them kind of sales, compare with different targets, compare it with prior year, and all that stuff, but it was not immediately actionable. So for that, what we presented was, hey Roberto, how you doing, my friend? Oh wait, does he have audio? Not yet. All right, I'll continue here. I'll check in with Roberto in a bit. So we showed sales versus target versus prior. One of the thought that I had. Oh yeah, actionable. So for what did we show for actionable? We would show specific customers, not all customers, with largest year-over-year drops. Like we'll show just 5, right? Again, overwhelm is a challenge even for those consuming the reports. So we'll just show the ones with the biggest drops, and we'll show their phone number right next to it. And so the salesperson could now say, oh yeah, they'll just call. And of course, so anyway, so that was the end result. On the data side, it was not unusually challenging. Frankly, I've worked with a lot of even data warehouses which are supposed to be clean. It was a bit of discovery. Another bit of piece that I want to share here is that something that is called data profiling, and that is coming to Power BI. I believe it's going to come in October 2018. This was announced at the Business Insights Summit. And what that lets you do is imagine if you're connecting to a complex data set which has lots and lots of tables, and you're walking into it cold, you don't have an idea what the tables are. So for example, let's see if we have that. Let's say we go to this one. And frankly, this is not crazy. Real data sets are crazier. I know Dynamics is crazier than this. Like, how do you make sense of all this? Where do you go? Do you hunt around like, oh, this looks important, this looks important? Well, it helps to get machines help. So that's where data profiling can quickly let you see, kind of peek what's inside the table. And it's really, really cool. It can show you like, oh, this is the table. These are the columns. These columns have only 5 unique values. And why is that important? Because something which has less unique values is a prime candidate for slicing and dicing. So that is going to probably end up in your lookup tables. If it sounds vague, it's actually much easier if you see it in practice. So in practice, it's a data discovery, whatever you call it, right? So we do it manually anyway, but now with the profiling tools, it's going to make the whole experience easier. So wait for that. So Rick, thanks for your question. Hopefully some of this helped you and other folks who are kind of working with these kind of things. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's it was good to see the preview. Well, I'm a Microsoft MVP. We had seen it a long time ago, but yeah, it's now announced. I think it officially has a date now. October seems to be shaping up to be a huge release. I'm not exactly sure why that's the case, because data. I don't know if there's like a huge Microsoft conference or announcement. I think the data they have the. I don't know. Maybe, I'm not sure. But October 2018, yeah, they're shaping up to be a big one. All right, guys. Let me say hi to Roberto. Roberto, come on. You're muted. How are things on your side? Okay, maybe he's having some mic issues. All right, guys. So again, I'm not the star here. You're the star of this story, and I'm an enabler. If that, you have everything you need, my friend. All right, and yeah. So and it starts with that first step. Just take that baby step. If you're feeling overwhelmed, just take a break. Step back. So I know sometimes when we're feeling overwhelmed, we feel like, so I look at my to-do list. I've stopped doing that, and it just is that endless to-do list, right? Post-its everywhere, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And the instinct is, what is the instinct? The instinct is to dive in, right? To lean in, right? The instinct that I feel is that I'm gonna stay here till all of it is done. I'm gonna stay all night. How many times have I felt that? Quite a bit, right? Quite a bit. But you have to train yourself to do the opposite. When you feel overwhelmed, don't lean in. You gotta push back, my friend. Overwhelm is not a good land to be in, right? So you don't have to do it all. You don't have to collect those all requirements and deliver on everything. Just step back, take a break, take care of yourself first, and then when you come in, just just that small piece, small progress. Every day, if you went one step forward, where are we going to be at the end of the year? All right, my friends, this was epic. I had no idea what we're gonna talk about, but I loved all your Power BI questions. So if you haven't signed up officially, just go to learnpowerbi.com/challenge. That's gonna hook you up with this page. I will be updating it later today to beef up the resources section, which will give you access to the links and some of the files that we did today. And of course, as we do, if we do more throughout the course, throughout the challenge, then we'll do that. I'll also encourage you to get the step 1 completed. We'll be announcing step 2 soon, and I'm super excited. We'll be opening enrollment to our course soon, and I hope I see you some from you inside the Learn Power BI family. And of course, one lucky person is gonna be in there as the winner of this challenge. All right, my friends. I'll see you next time. Until then, power on.